All right. So hand tether in motion is very, very similar to the ground tether. Why did you zoom in here? Oh, no. Come on, let's go.
And my juice water. Ouch! Ow, ow! Thank you.
Yes. I'm assuming. All right. Okay. So we are going to quickly watch hand tether in motion. Okay. Now, before we watch it, I want to explain to you a little bit about what it is. It's very, very simple, but it's a kind of an in-between step between the ground tether game and getting into a very nice, beautiful, never pulls on the collar, loose leash walk. Okay, so this is your stepping stone. This is really key once you are good and solid on your ground tether games. So again, do not advance to this if you are not solid on your ground tether game first. Okay, so with that being said, we're going to go ahead and watch the video through once, and then as we're going to talk about it. Okay, so here we go. So we're reviewing the ground tether. This is where the hand tether comes in.
So she stops when she gives him the treat. The treat, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know.
Okay, so Erin, what did you see there?
The puppy was focused, even if the puppy was touched, and it kind of ignored a lot of the distractions and just kept focusing on the person with the food.
So that's kind of what appears what happened. Ingrid, what did you see?
I saw that she was giving treats very quickly.
Yep.
And, like praise with the treat really quick. It was, keeping your puppy on you.
Yes. Was the puppy perfect?
No.
Where was the puppy not perfect? What did you see?
The puppy obviously would look around, and he would move a little bit, but he would come back quickly.
Right.
So it was
also a time where he really wanted to get to something. Do you remember that? And he was pulling really hard on that leash.
Yes, right when she was at the stuff.
Right.
Yep.
So the puppy was making errors. And even when the person came up from behind, the puppy didn't sit there magically. The puppy got up a little bit. After he was reinforced for staying chiller, then he resettled back down and went into a sit. Okay, so it's those really subtle movements that you guys have to be aware of, because this puppy's not perfect, far from it. Okay, and I guarantee you, if you gave this dog to a different handler, that maybe wasn't quite as experienced, he would have looked like a totally different dog, because their timing would have been off. Maybe they didn't have a high rate of reinforcement like Ingrid mentioned. Maybe they moved too close and too quickly with some reinforcers or some distractions, right? So we're gonna watch this again. I'm gonna show you those errors and what the puppy is feeling at each moment, because for you guys as trainers, it is extremely important for you to know all of these really small, what seems like minute, but really it affects your training hugely. Okay, so it's really important to notice these more subtle signs and behavior. Okay, so I'm going to press play again. So they're still on ground tether. Now you notice they started to switch to hand tether. Okay, now hand tether is when your hand, this is not the perfect form for a hand tether. Okay, your hand should be glued to your thigh. Ingrid, why do you think we glue the hand to our thigh after we switch from a solid ground tether?
So that he's more in place for where he's supposed to be. So when he moves away from that place and he's, you're holding that as tight to your leg as possible, then he's outside of his location where he should be.
So think about when he hits the end of the leash. Should he be hitting the end of the leash, or should he be staying loose?
He should be staying loose.
Right. Okay. Now when he's on ground tether, is he hitting the end or is he staying loose?
He should be staying loose.
Right. So what happens in the ground tether when he does hit the end?
He bounces back a little bit.
They'll bounce back, they'll look at you, they will release that pressure.
You're right.
So when they hit the end, they say, oops, I need to release it myself. That's why it's important to have your hand glued to your thigh. Because if it's not, your hand is going to move with your dog.
Much more, yeah.
Right, and then you've totally screwed yourself over because you started great with the ground tether, but now your hand's moving out and around. So when you're doing the hand tether and motion game, these people have been doing it for 30 plus years, okay? These are old ladies who their life is dogs, all right? They can do whatever they want, but you guys have not been practicing this for 30 plus years, and you need to be very aware of your body motion. Okay, so your hand needs to be glued to your thigh with that leash in it, okay, when you're first starting out. That way you're not having that give, okay? But again, only move on to hand tether when your ground tether is great in all places, all right?
What are you looking for as in great? I know that there's other, like in the paperwork, there's stuff, but what exactly do you want great to look like at this point with Magnus?
So you're talking about like really, really young puppies.
Okay.
Really young puppies, I mean, all the dogs should be at the same level of behavior before you move on.
Okay.
It doesn't matter whether it's a young puppy or a 5-year-old dog, right? Before you move on to hand tether, you need to be very proficient with your ground tether.
Okay.
And with such a young puppy, you could probably get away with, 3 locations before moving on to hand tether, as long as he is proficient in all 3 locations.
Right.
For an older who hasn't practiced this, or maybe they've practiced pulling on their leash and their collar a lot in the past, Hope and I, we had to practice this every day, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day for about a week before she even became somewhat competent. And Hope's a 3-year-old dog. Okay, so if you have a younger puppy, it's going to be faster and easier for you. If you have an older dog, it's going to take more time and more patience. All right, so my criteria, exactly what she said, it's in the paperwork, which is the dog needs to be by your side with a loose leash, paying attention to you, not often going off to go to the end of the collar, right? Just being nice and calm. That's what we're looking for. Okay, that's the criteria for all the dogs. All right, cool, good question. Notice how many steps she's taking at a time. I'm gonna rewind that and I'm gonna have Erin tell me how many steps is she taking at a time. What'd you see, Erin?
1.
Yeah. Really teeny tiny baby shuffle steps, okay? That is how you transfer from a ground tether to a hand tether in motion. We don't start walking with our dogs. We do teeny tiny baby shuffles, okay? 1 at a time, and we pause, and then we mark, and then we reinforce. So 1 step, mark, reinforce. As long as your dog's nice there by your side, that's what you're marking for. All right, what's happening here? We'll give this one to Erin. What's happening here, Erin? What is the puppy doing?
Trying to sniff what's on the ground.
Yep. Look at the leash. What's the leash doing?
It's tight.
It's tight. Look at how firm this trainer's hand is. They're not letting that puppy pull them directly to the ground there, right? Again, these ladies have 30 plus years experience, you do not. They're able to have this skill where they don't have to have it tightly on their thigh. You guys are going to need your hands with your leashes tightly on your thigh, okay? So she has fixed pressure, puppy sniffing. Let's see what happened next. What happened? Aaron?
The puppy sat and looked back up.
Right, and before they sat, they were pulling, right?
Yes.
Right. So in between that, he released what pressure?
The tight pressure.
Right, the leash pressure. So this is why it's important just to wait. Okay, if your dog is pulling, you freeze and you wait for them to offer that eye contact or for them to relieve that pressure by themselves. This is the same stuff we've done in the ground tether games. There's no difference here other than that the leash is in your hand and you're starting to move, which is a lot considering, you know, you have all these different variables going, right? But again, this is our stepping stone. This is our stepping stone to get into a beautiful loose leash walk. This is very important. Again, don't move on to this until you have your ground tether absolutely on key. Great, okay? Now, what you're not going to notice is what you can also do is ask your dog or tell your dog to say, let's go, as soon as your feet start to move. Okay. If your dog is not focused on you, you can say that to get their attention and then start moving. But as you notice here, this dog, before she starts moving, is already focused on her. So if your dog's already focused on you, you don't have to say, let's go. All right. But you can if you want to, no big deal. What happened there? Very small, Aaron. Can we rewind it?
Yeah, it's going really slow on, I don't know if, probably my tablet.
All right, here I go. What happened there? What did the puppy do?
Started to look down.
Yes. And then after he looked down, where did he look?
Right back up.
Right. And what did the handler do after he looked up?
Said, nice.
Yep. And gave him?
Gave him the reward.
Yes. Perfect. So even those really subtle eye movements, where they're looking their head at, take your time and reinforce the heck out of that, okay? That is how you're gonna have your dog look at you, all right? Notice she's not prompting them. She's not doing kissy noises saying, you know, like, come here, come here, come here, or anything like that. She's simply waiting for the behavior to occur because while you're in the ground tether game, you're gonna be putting these foundations in place, okay? Now notice she's not reinforcing right on her leg. When you first start this game, it's okay to reinforce within a little bit of a bubble by your left leg. It doesn't have to be right on the seam of your pants. But by about the second or third session of your tether games, your hand tether games, you need to be reinforcing on the seam of your pants, okay? So for example, with Hope, I actually noticed even for her, if I started, if she's on my left, right? If she's on my left, I would have my treat pouch over here and I would grab food and feed her on the seam of my pants. What I noticed is that she was still starting to curl a little bit. Not too bad, but it was getting a little annoying. Ingrid, what do you think I did in order to fix that? I did everything right. I had the seam of my pants. What am I doing?
I would assume that you went to using your left hand to give the treat.
Yes. So in order to do that, I switched. I moved my bait bag from my right onto my left side. Now I'm holding the leash in this hand. and I have it glued to my my stomach. But this, again, this is more advanced, okay? Don't do this until you're ready for like more big leaps, okay? But yeah, I had it over here, and I would mark and reinforce. Actually, I started doing it just a little bit behind my leg. So I was like, okay, listen, if I'm gonna do anything, I'm gonna try a little bit behind and see if that helps it out. She's been beautiful. Girl, you should have seen her on her walks today. She was doing absolutely wonderful.
Nice.
Never hit the end of that. We were taking like at least 15 steps at a time. And like in the next week, if I keep practicing this, we could easily get 3 for sure.
Awesome.
Okay. All right. I love how he sits on top of it. So as you notice, as they continue to do this, did the dog look down at it at all? I'll play this again. No looks, offer to sit, followed, didn't even look at it. And that is the level you're trying to get to, okay? Now again, this is all laid out in your paperwork. You can download the sheet off of the same page on the website. And now we're moving on to a different puppy. We've got a black puppy here. Erin, what is the puppy currently doing?
Looking at the stuff on the ground.
Yep, let's see what happens next. What happened?
He tried to go down and put his nose to go see, like got more curious about what it was.
Let's watch it again. Let's watch it again. What happened? I'll watch it again. One more time.
He walked right over to her.
Yep. He looked at it. Then she moved a foot and he's like, oh, we're moving. Okay, let me come to you. And then she marked. Beautiful. Good job. He looked a little bit there. Do you see that? It was like half a second of a look. But he was like, oh, okay, you're still more interesting, which is great. And that's it. All right, how do you guys feel about that?
Pretty good.
Okay. Erin, how do you feel?
Feel like it's not impossible, but right now it feels like it's impossible.
Right, right. Well, and that's because, you know, my question to you is, have you submitted your homework yet, or have you walked through it with me yet? I mean, this week.
No.
Okay, right. So I still haven't seen where you are with Daisy since the last time we met up. And I don't know where your trouble spots are. I guarantee you have trouble spots, and all you have to do, I mean, what do I say all the time? You only need to, it takes little what in order to get really good behavior?
Little like
Give me-
not tweaks, but like
yes,
little.
I say it all the time, little tweaks. You got it. So all it takes is little tweaks in your technique, and the dogs are going to figure it out, okay? It's not a big deal. It feels like it is because it's not happening, but we just have to look at ourselves in the camera, and I'll help guide you through that, okay? All right, so hand tether in motion, there it is. Now I'm opening this up to, wow, it's already 40 minutes in. So I'm opening this up to Q&As. What are you guys currently struggling with, and how can I help? Who wants to go first?
my thing is like, how would I get folks who knows what to do with her vest? Sorry, squirt. But like, she thinks it's all game and free time when she doesn't have that on.
Right.
So is it going to take longer for her to realize that, like, she still needs to do this even though the vest is off versus on?
When you're in learning mode, when you taught Daisy her original, the original things that she had to do, she wearing her vest or not?
No.
Okay. That's your answer.
Okay. So it'll just take time.
Everything takes a little bit of time. And when I had Daisy here, when she was boarding, she never had her vest on.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I just got to work with this nose. And I guess I'm not used to it. This is my first hound. Anything.
Yeah.
Not used to.
And yeah, it's going to catch you off guard. If you're not used to, you know, paying attention to your dog, like as you're walking down the street or as you're doing something, it's going to be harder for you to stay on top of them and do your training. Okay. So I want to give this a shot. And I know she's capable of it because I've done it with her before. So I know she's capable of it. So we just need to make sure that you are on the same page that Daisy's on. Okay. And yeah, just do a video and we'll go over that.
Okay.
Good.
I'm trying to figure out how often I should put each training game into play every day. Like, what should my schedule look like? You know, like if I'm working and I'm doing, you know, about 5 a day, what things should I be concentrating on most right now within those 5 times? Like right now I have daily, I have the ground tether, I have keeping him calm, you know, doing the calming techniques, and walking, you know, like right next to with the other thing that we were talking about, the I forget her name, from puppy culture.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm doing that as well. But
And honestly, Ingrid, if you want to jump into like more, if your dog's doing okay, right? And there's already a lot of stuff you're doing.
yeah,
If you wanted to, if you're getting bored and if you want to jump start, I would start moving into collar cues.
collar cues.
Okay. But, you know, look at it, see if you need to have the hand tether more down before you do it. Okay.
Right.
I've looked at it. I need to refresh myself on that. But I'm sure you could do like standing collar cues too. Okay.
Okay. I just want to make sure that I have, you know, enough time for each particular item throughout the day. You know, like, should I do ground tether every single time I decide to train? You know, like if I'm training one thing, I can move to another within that time frame.
Right. And I mean, you know, you can, all this stuff, you don't have to do, there's very few things that you have to do in a specific order. If you want to move ahead and go into the next section and see what can work with your schedule, feel free to do that. I would also highly recommend practicing some separation anxiety prevention protocols, like leaving your dog in a crate with a Kong as you leave out the door, but of course having that on a video camera would be very helpful to know, to make sure your dog's still doing good.
Right. Yeah. I have some video of that today. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're looking for more stuff to do. I think you have plenty to do.
Okay. Well, yeah. And I'm not concerned about, like adding more stuff in. I'm just more concerned about what should the schedule look like with the things that I currently have.
Well, and there's no perfect schedule. Every person's going to be different with their dog, right? If training was that rigid, God, I probably wouldn't want to do it.
Yeah, it's true. It's just, like I'm getting to the point where I'm like, okay, all right, what am I going to do next? Oh, I don't remember what I want to do, and I have to go back to what I've written like 3 weeks ago or whatever, which is an issue on me.
I can't.
So, well, right, exactly. And so I'm kind of,
I think, have you visited storefronts with him at all yet?
no, not at all.
Okay. I did. I mean, there's a lot of dead storefronts out there, and that's a perfect place to practice your paw pad games.
Okay.
Okay. So you might have seen this in the video for paw pad number 2.
Yeah.
And I actually assigned some extra credit homework.
Woohoo.
Paw pad game number 2. And it is to go find like a storefront or something with a wall and a flat surface and practice your paw pads out in a low distracting environment where there might be too many people going around. So if you want some extra points, if you want some extra credit, I have just recently uploaded that to the website as well. Okay. Okay.
Cool.
So that one you can do whenever. I'm not putting a due date on that, but if it's this week, it makes me happier. So
I'm excited. I don't think there's any other. We did talk about how he is bolting from wherever he's pottying to the door. And I did start today, even though it was raining. I wasn't happy about it, but whatever. And neither was he. He doesn't like the rain. It's cute. But how do I manage with the door right now? Should I start with?
As soon as he's done pottying, sprinkle kibble in the grass.
No, my concern really is him bolting at the front door. Should I teach him not to bolt at the front door first, or should, how do I handle him being on a leash and him bolting out?
He's at an age right now where you could pick him up.
Yes, not for long.
Okay. Well, why not work on your ground tether right there?
Okay. Well, I don't want to wait and that's the problem. You don't want to wait because he's still in the stage where,
Wait, are we talking about before he gets outside or after he's done getting outside? Before
he's outside.
Oh, okay. I got you.
So, we have to hurry because we don't want him to.
So, yeah. So what I would do is get him distracted with his kibble while he's at the door, as you're opening it, start pezzing and pez him as he comes out.
Okay.
I would do. I actually told, I have a client that I Zoom on Thursdays, and she's got to be like 70 or older. And she has this 5-6-month-old golden doodle puppy.
Oh, goodness. Bouncy, crazy.
Yes, extremely bouncy, crazy. He's got the same issue at the door, except he tries to play with her as they're going in and out the door.
Oh, gotcha.
And we fixed that in a week just by doing a similar thing to pezzing. Yeah.
Right. Cool. I got it then.
All right. Awesome. All right, guys, then I will see you on Saturday. Erin, shoot me a video. Your ground tether games are due on Saturday. Okay.
Sounds good.
Do you want the video tonight? Do you want it tomorrow?
I mean, as soon as you're able to get it to me, we'll give you the most amount of time to practice for Saturday.
Okay.
It's going to depend on what you can make work.
Okay. I'll probably be able to do it tomorrow because that'll give me, I'm off tomorrow, so that'll give me time to clean up the living room and give me some more space.
Okay. All right. All right, girls. Have fun.
Bye.
Bye.